Hello, I'm Austin, and today I once again want to talk about Arc Raiders. This time I want to talk about the free kits, a discussion that's been going around online lately. Before we get into it though, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts on the free kits. It really helps me out. I'm really close to 100 here. I really appreciate that. But to get into it, let's talk about the commentary around the kits. So there's been a lot of discussion lately around whether or not the free kits need to be nerfed or not in Arc Raiders. Frankly, I'm of the opinion that they're fine, but we'll get into that a little later. The discussion around it mostly revolves around that they are too good and you can get them too easily since there's no timer or anything on them. I understand where that's coming from, especially from those from like Tarkov. The extraction shooters, especially Tarkov, have kind of laid a foundation on what players should expect from these. And Arc Raiders has a few things that kind of breaks that trend or continues to make it a little bit more of a casual experience. So I understand where those people are coming from, but I want to get into why I think Arc Raiders does what it does with their free kits and why I think that really works for this game. This is very dependent on game design. Each game obviously is going to be different. Each devs are going to want a different things. My issue with a lot of extraction shooters outside of Tarkov is that most of them try to mimic Tarkov. They're usually like hyper realistic and serious shooters, and Tarkov already does that really well, so I've never been a fan of just mimicking Tarkov and not doing a whole lot different. It's why personally I've gotten so into Arc Raiders, and the free kits are a huge reason around that for me. Now obviously, an extraction shooter does need some form of gear fear of losing all your items. That is integral to the genre, and Arc Raiders does still have that, but especially in the early game, it's definitely not as prevalent. Because those free kits are so easily, readily available, you can easily make sure you have guns, ammo, some healing items. But personally, I think that works really well with what Arc Raiders is doing. The whole thing around Arc Raiders is to try to bring more people into the extraction genre, and the game does it fantastically. There's a reason it's like been trending up with its peak player count still. This game is doing some incredible things for the extraction shooter genre as a whole, and making it a more casual experience is just part of that. It makes it, especially in the early game, players can get a feel for what they're doing, a feel for what they should be expected to do, what they can expect from the game, and when those early wipes and stuff, when they're losing their gear, it's not incredibly punishing. They can still keep playing the game. They don't have to wait on a timer to get a free loadout to go restock. They can just hop right back in. No waiting needed. I can talk, I promise. So let's take a little closer into why this works for Arc Raiders in particular. So as stated, Arc Raiders is a more casual game. It's nowhere near as hardcore as Escape from Tarkov, and I think everyone can agree with that. I don't think that I'm spitting a hot take here. Because of that, it is important to minimize the gear fear early on, because you're going to get people out of the game immediately before they can even try it. It sucks to lose everything. It really does. And I know for a lot of people that's a huge draw of an extraction shooter, but you have to understand that's a real turn away for everybody else. So Arc Raiders having the free kits with good enough gear to keep people playing, but it's not good enough for like end game content or anything. You can't just rely on free kits the entire game. Or you could, but I don't think you're going to get the most out of the game. I don't think you're going to have a great time if you do that. So Arc Raiders still has a form of gear fear, especially with things like blueprints you get during a run, the green plus or green, blue, I think even yellow guns, stuff like that. There's a lot of things you're not going to get in a free kit that you need, especially if you want to upgrade your stash or scrappy, stuff like that. You need to go out there and get gear, and you're always at the risk of dying and losing it, and that's stuff you can't do in a free kit. So I don't think it takes away all of the loss of gear. I think there's still plenty to worry about. Again, it's not as intense as Tarkov for sure, but I think that's a plus. That's what the devs wanted. That's what they were designed for. And all of this feeling is why it works so well with Arc Raiders. People can keep playing it without being upset and agitated. They're gonna lose stuff and they're gonna be heartbroken from it, but they always have something to fall back on, and it encourages a feeling of just one more run that I think Escape from Tarkov does better than any other extraction shooter I've played. But again, admittedly, as I've talked about in previous videos, I'm definitely more of a novice when it comes to extraction shooters. I've played Escape from Tarkov, I played Hunt, I've played Arena Battle Infinite. God, I hope that's what it's called. I did this last video too, ABI. I'm not looking it up again, I don't care. But I've never played them that long, so again, I'm not an expert of the genre or anything. I'm coming as somebody who has some mild experience and has kind of bounced off the other games, but has been sucked in by Arc Raiders. In conclusion, the Arc Raider free kits are perfect for Arc Raiders. Every game is different, and I don't think extraction shooters as a whole should copy everything from Arc Raiders. I think Arc Raiders has its own design philosophy that works very well for it. I think Tarkov, even though I personally didn't really enjoy the game, I think Tarkov nails what it sets out to do. It just isn't for me, and I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with having the timer on the free kits because they're creating an entirely different theme. They want an entirely different feel to their game. And obviously, Tarkov's still immensely popular. People love it. It works for what it does. But the Arc Raider dev set decided, oh, look at this genre. Let's try something different. Let's make it our own way. And it works really well for them. So I can understand the more hardcore audience having some issues with it, but I think they're honestly in a perfect place for what the devs want. I don't think they need nerfed. I think some people even say buffed, and I definitely don't think they need buffed. I think they're honestly in a pretty perfect spot. I think they nailed it with the free kits. But again, I love to know what you guys think. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps me a lot. I really want to know, do you guys think the free kits need tweaked at all? What tweaks would you make? Anyway, goodbye. Have a great day.